Welcome back, everybody. Another fun and exciting video here at Blue Glow Electronics. Before I dive into the video, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. As of late, I haven't been making many videos. My day job's just been kind of grueling. I'm working on a big merger, and they've had me flying all over the globe and the U.S. And so most of my weeks have been consumed by flying around the country. So not leaving a lot of time on the weekends, and what I have had on the weekends, I've just been repairing units. It takes a whole lot longer to do a restoration with a video than without, so just been trying to knock stuff out of the queue without the videos. But hey, I came across this one and thought, there's not a video out there on YouTube about this, so why don't we make one today? So what it is biasing the outputs here of a Pioneer, either SX-850 or SX-950. They are identical in process and procedure on how you do that. Basically, this output board is basically the same thing. So I thought I'd make a video today and show you how to do that. And then after that, I'm going to show you just one more tech tip on the Pioneer SX-850 and 950 units to help you out a little bit. So let's jump over to the manual and I'll show you what we're going to do. Okay, first up, if you'll notice, I'm using a manual here that I downloaded off of Hi-Fi Engine, and it is the SX-950 service manual. Let me tell you why. The SX-850 service manual, for some reason, it has all the schematics, all the part numbers, etc. Does not have the power amplifier adjustment piece in it, and I'm not sure why, but go ahead and download the SX950 manual. It's the exact same thing, exact same process. I'm going to walk you through these steps, let you understand them a little bit, then I'm going to take you over to the amp and show you how to do them. First off, and I'm going to show you where these are at. VR3 and 4 turn fully turned counterclockwise. So if you'll note it to the right, like you're tightening the lid on a jar, that is clockwise. So we're going to take these things counterclockwise, so like you're loosening them. And then you're going to remove the jumper plugs connecting power in and pre-out jacks. I'll show you that. You're going to connect a 5.1 ohm resistor to the power in jacks, and they show you here how they've made some basically RCA plugs with 5.1 ohm resistors going across them. Then it's going to tell you here to set your power amplifier for no load, and you're going, what does that mean? How do I set it for no load? You basically go to the front, and it has speakers A, speakers B, and you make sure both of those are off or in the out position so that you don't have any speakers connected. And then we're going to adjust VR1 for 0 volts between terminals 10 and 9. I'll show you how to get to those. Adjust VR2 for 0 volts between 25 and 24. And what you're really doing with step 6 and 7 here is you're setting the kind of the quiescent point on the output transistors so that you have 0 volts on the basically on the speaker output terminals. It's not a good thing when you have DC offset voltage, a voltage setting on your speaker terminals. It basically causes your speakers to either move in or out one direction constantly, which is not good for the coils in your speakers. So basically you want your speakers sitting there at a rested state or 0 volts out, kind of a quiescent point of 0. And then you're going to adjust the idle current flowing through your output transistors. So in other words, the amount of current just sitting there enough to leave them turned on, but not enough to start moving them either towards saturation or cutoff. And so you're going to adjust VR3 for 20 millivolts between terminals 12 and 13. And if you'll notice it here, it tells you to put the positive on the 12 and the negative on the 13. Same here, VR4, 20 millivolts between two terminals, 27 and 28. And then you're basically going to let this unit warm up for 10 minutes and then do that again. So let me show you one little picture if I can find it real quick. Okay, I found this little picture out here on a website, and it does a really good job of explaining DC offset. So first off, 0 volts right here. You're going to want your speaker terminals setting at 0 volts at any given point in time. And then when you start playing music through it, you kind of get signals going up and down, driving your speaker to move in or out of the voice coil to make sound, right? But look what happens if your DC offset is not set to 0. Basically, you're sitting up here somewhere. Well, a couple things happen when you do that that are bad. First off, it pushes the speaker cone out in a given direction, like boom, and it's always there. So if your speaker was supposed to travel, between 2 points, Well, guess what? It's already halfway to one of those points by pushing it up here. So one, you're going to start clipping out sooner because you're going to start bouncing into the end of your cone spectrum there. And two, you're not going to be taking advantage of all the headroom you got on the other side of the amplifier over here. And then the other thing is, it's just bad on your voice coil to have a voltage sitting there on it burning all the time. Creates heat, and over time, could cause issues with your speakers. So you want to get the DC offset down to 0, and that's basically what we were doing back over here. Let me get rid of this little window here. Back over here when we set these 6 and 7 to 0. Let's jump over to the amplifier. Okay, this may or may not be that easy to see, but this is the amplifier output board. You've got the top cover off. You can see the heat sinks back here, and then the amplifier board. And then if you'll notice right here, I've came along and marked these things. So where did my hand? There's my handy dandy stick. You've got one right here. I wrote it on the board, VR1, first one. Then you got VR3. You can see I wrote a 3 on the board here, VR3. And then if you scroll across over here, you get to VR2 and VR4, as I've marked them right here. So you can grab you a Sharpie and mark your board as well. It goes 1, 3, 2, 4. Make sure you don't do those in order of 1, 2, 3, 4. You won't get this process right. So first and foremost, what did it say to do in the instructions? It said turn VR3 and 4 fully counterclockwise. So we're going to go to 3 here, and it says instead of clockwise, if you notice turning to the right would be clockwise, we're going to turn it to the left like this, fully counterclockwise. VR3 and VR4. Just like this. Fully counterclockwise. Boom. All the way over and locked. Okay. We've now got that step done. Okay, next up, you'll notice here we're on the back of the amplifier. We've got the pre-out power in. So basically what this little jumper does is it jumpers between the preamp of your amplifier and the power out power amplifier section. So these things are handy for troubleshooting. If you're ever having problems, you can always pull these plugs out right here and take your aux cable and plug directly into your power in here coming off of your iPad or iPod or something, and if things sound good here, then your issue is on the preamp side of the thing. Likewise, if you had another stereo, you could come out of this and feed into the power amplifier on another stereo and prove that it was your amplifier having an issue. So handy little section, just kind of breaks up the amplifier in the middle. But what it told me to do was to get 2 5.1 ohm resistors, which I did. These are 5.1 ohm 3 watt precision resistors. However, you don't need 3 watt. You can get by with 1 watt, half watt, whatever, because there's really not a lot of power flowing through these things. And you're going to plug it right here onto the power in, just like it showed in the picture, and you can see how that looks. Then we can spin the unit back around. Up next, it said set your amplifier to no load. So basically push that out. If you notice, that would have speakers B on, speakers A, speakers A, B. Oh, I hate when people do this. They inscribe their serial numbers onto the face of units. Never have understood that. I guess it was an anti-theft process, but wow. Okay, so anyway, A and B are out, so no load is set on this unit at this point in time. What does it say to do next? It says turn the power on. One thing I like to do when I'm adjusting an amplifier, I like to make sure that my Variac's got me at 120 volts. And yeah, I'm right there at it. Maybe just a smidgen over, but that'll work because your power lines are rarely all that accurate. So we turn it on. Click, you heard it. The power protection relay kicked in, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit. But now we got to get up here and basically do what it tells us to do in the instructions. Let's go back over and look at them. Remember, adjust VR1 and VR2. So that's what we're working on. 1 and 2 for 0 volts between terminals 10 and 9 and 25 and 24. Let me show you that. Okay, this is probably the toughest part to see of this whole video, but Down here on the bottom, there's a little clear strip that runs from right here, you can see the end of it, all the way over to right here. And it has 15 pins coming out of it, and you can see them down here all across the bottom. And what they've got on these pins is they've got wires coming up to them, wire wrapped around them. Well, above them, they're labeled. You can see the number 4 right there. You can see the number 14 and 15 right there. But they're labeled 1 through 15 all the way across. And then there's a break, and then there's another little plastic piece, and it goes from here over to right here. And it basically goes from 16 to 24. Same thing with pins. If I flipped it upside down, you could easily see all these pins across there and the wires connecting to them. But it is a royal pain to try to come from the bottom of this unit and connect up jumpers and then come to the top and adjust these things. So there's a solution for that. These really, really long, you can see they're about as big as my meter, really, really long little jumpers. So let me show you how they connect. You can buy 2 of these for like $5, okay? And basically what they've got on them right here is a connection where you then come along with just a banana jack. So I have nothing more than 2 banana jack cord here, one going into the negative, and then I'll bring it over here. What you do is you plug it into the bottom of this thing like this, and then you tighten this little screw up right here with your fingers, and instantly you have a really long test lead. And it told me to go down and connect pins 9 and 10. And it's kind of tough to see, but you'll get the gist of it. I'm going way down here, and I just found pins 9, and I connected around it. And I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to go all the way down, and I'm going to grab pin 10 right beside of it. Make sure I got the right one here. Yeah, these things are a little bit of a pain to catch. There we go. I've got pin 10. If you'll notice when I'm doing that, I turn the unit off just in case I got across something down here while trying to plug that thing in, and I didn't want to short anything. So at any rate, let's turn the unit on now, and we're across pins 9 and 10. And what does it tell us to do? To adjust for 0 volts here using VR1 here. So right now, if I look at it, I'm sitting at 0.09, 0.08 volts here. And if I come over here and I get my little screwdriver into the slot here on VR1 and start adjusting it, if you'll notice here, 0.04, 0.032. Uh-oh, if you'll notice it starts dipping back up a little bit. There we go. Oh, wow. These are tough. Okay. Oh, these things are extremely tough. As soon as you take your screwdriver, you pressure off the screwdriver. All right, that's about as low as you're going to get it. 0.009. You're never going to get this thing all the way down to 0.00000. It's just tough. But that's a what's it, a microvolt at that point. You're pretty low there. And then you're going to come over here and move this thing off of pins 9 and 10. I'm going to turn it back off so I don't accidentally, when I'm removing these things, get across something. And then we got to go 2 pins, what does it say? 25 and 24, which are a little tougher to find way down here. Let's see, I see 24 right here. And then the strip starts back over again right beside of it and goes 25 through 29. And I think I've got it down in there across 25. Turn it back on. Well, this one's not too bad. So we got to now adjust VR2. If you notice, we're sitting at 0.03. And if we come over here to VR2, start adjusting here. Oh, look, we'll get it on down there. Ah, that's pretty low. I'm telling you how sensitive these things are. As soon as you See, it started going negative the other direction. So you kind of got some points where it peaks out. I'm going to leave it right there. Wow. That's spot on. Beautiful. Now you got me wanting to go back and adjust the other one, which I might do. But you'll see why I'm not going to do it right this second. If you'll remember, it told you to leave the unit on for 10 minutes or so and then come back and adjust this again. So we're going to leave that right there. That's pretty darn good. Okay, what it says is connect, adjust VR3 for 20 millivolts between terminals 12 with the plus connection and 13 with the minus. So I've got 12 going here plus 13 minus. We've got to get our screwdriver onto VR3, and I've got it now changed over to the 200 millivolt scale. So VR3 here, if you'll notice, I'm going to adjust it. It's at the very minimum right now because we turned it counterclockwise. You're going to turn that thing up until you get to 20 millivolts. $17, $18. What you're doing is you're basically biasing this transistor on and getting it right at the perfect quiescent spot so that you've got maximum headroom up and down on the output swings. In other words, biased properly. And I'll tell you, the value in doing this, if you don't get this right, you can end up with some pretty harsh sounding stuff. And also, you're going to shorten the heck out of the life of your output transistors. You can see how tedious these things are. You think you get it just right, and you remove the screwdriver, and it moves off just a hair. 20.15. I'm going to take it down just a hair here. I'm going to leave it right there. 20.11. See, I moved it slightly, just a little more the other way. And what do we do? Oh, we're 16 off. There we go. We're going to leave it right there. 19.95. Pretty darn close to 20 millivolts. If anything, I'd rather. Oh, look, it's warming up a little bit. We're at the 20 millivolts. And that's why you're supposed to leave this unit on for 10 minutes or so and then come back and readjust these again, you know. It's not a bad practice to do. And I've gotten it off a little bit. I bet if I let that sit there a little bit, it'll climb up. It will. It'll probably climb up to right around 20 and be perfect. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for right now because it's climbing right up towards it. And then I'm going to go over and bias the other side, and then we're going to leave this unit on for 20 minutes like it says. So now we've got to go to VR4 and pins 27 and 28. Okay, we're sitting at 2.18 millivolts here. I got VR4 connected on pins 27 and 28. Got my little screwdriver in the slot. Going to start turning it, and as you can see, get it up here around... Part of my inaccuracy is I'm turning everything with my left hand and holding the camera in my right because it's a right-handed camera. I'm going to leave it right there, 19.97. I think this thing's warmed up now and kind of gotten to its pretty stable spot. It's still climbing just a little bit, but yeah, it's stabilized a lot. I bet I'd have left the power on this time instead of cutting it off in between. But, yeah. I went a little too far back with it. This thing's touchy, I'm telling you. I'm going to leave it right there, 19.96. Okay, so you get the gist. VR1, VR2, VR3, VR4. So your first 1 and 2 are adjusting the DC offset. 3 and 4 are adjusting the idle current on the output transistors. Basically, both setting the quiescent point and the idle point on the outputs, like I said, but halfway between saturation and cutoff, which is where you want to run one at. So that should get it. Let's see. We need to do a couple things. We need to disconnect these. I'm going to let it sit here for 20 minutes and warm up like it said, and then come back and rebias it. So let me just hang up the video and I'll come back here in 20 minutes. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. If you'll notice, I'm back over on pins, whatever, 12 and 13, and if you'll notice, it's climbed up a little bit on VR3. I'm going to take it back down to right there. Wow, that's good enough. Close enough here. Well, I think we are set on this thing, and I'll go ahead and do the other side as well. But you get the general gist of it, and let me plug it up and let you hear it. Okay, first and foremost, you got to remove the jumper, these load jumpers, and then put back in the solid jumpers. I'm going to turn on speakers A here. Got this thing set on aux. There's a band here called Cactus Black. It's a local Winston-Salem band, and I put out a record for them on my record label. Amazing band. Got another record, full-length LP in the works with them right now, so should be out later this year. But let's see what we got.
Can't count the bodies anymore. The blood and whiskey dance like lovers on the barroom floor. These eyes are sore, these boots are war. They cannot tell the story anymore. I've traveled far and wide. They speak to me just like the tears of a widowed bride. These guns are lies.
These things sound amazing. I've got where I use bands off my own record label so that I can't have YouTube screaming at me saying I'm using copyrighted material, because I actually own the rights to this music.
For all the wicked things I've done, I'm hanging up my guns.
Alright. So, let's move on to part B of this video, where we talk to you a little bit about another tip. You've now learned how to bias an SX-850 or an SX-950, and pretty simple steps. All you need is a good voltmeter, a couple jumpers that you have to make up, a good set of long test leads to get down in there and connect, and then you're pretty good to go. Screwdriver, not much else. Alright, let's flip it over.
My skin, if I could begin again.
Okay, turn the volume down on it. I'm just letting it play a little bit, but all those pins that we were connecting to earlier, you can see them all real clearly right here. Down, down. Here's the tough part. Much easier to connect to right here. So you could theoretically have this thing on your bench on its side like I've got it now, and connect your jumpers here like with a regular set of alligator clips. Really easy. The problem is the writing is on the other side, and you can't see the writing from here. It's like, ugh. So they just didn't make a great setup. So those long prongs are what I'd highly recommend. But here you can see I've rebuilt the entire power supply board, replaced all the capacitors in it. This is the protection board. We'll talk more about it in a second. And this is the EQ board, otherwise known as the phono board, that we have completely recapped at this point in time. Okay, the tip I want to give you, it's based around this board. It's AWM-062, which is otherwise known as the protection board for the speaker relay. If you come down, is right here. So the whole purpose of a protection relay is if for some reason your speakers are shorted, or maybe they're way out of whack, the wrong impedance for your amplifier or something, it's supposed to, this board is supposed to sense that and basically kick out the relay. Boom. In other words, it keeps from sending current to your amplifier. To your speaker, out of the amplifier to the speakers, to keep from one, burning up your amplifier, or two, hurting your speakers. So And so this is a board that's designed to sense any types of shorts on the outputs or whatnot. Well, a couple of notorious problems with these boards. One, these capacitors dry out, and oh yeah, I marked all of them, but I didn't mark the bottom of this one red. Remember, I mark all my capacitors when I replace them, but and I replaced all these capacitors. But this right here is Q7, right here. It's on. You can see it. Originally, Q7 was a 2SC 1384R chip, and this thing is notorious for going out. And the reason it's notorious for going out is because this speaker protection relay, when it kicks in and out, if you know anything about relays, you know what engages the relay to close or open, there's a big magnetic coil. And a magnetic coil, when it opens and closes, does something. It produces an effect, basically, where as the relays are closing and opening, that coil is basically collapsing and expanding its magnetic field, and in doing that is inducing a current. And so what happens is the relay is closing. It is actually inducing a very large negative current back into this transistor right here that wasn't designed to be there, and over the life of time starts to weaken this transistor. So two things you do to fix that, one of which I've done here. First thing you do is between pin 9 here and pin 10, and let me show you over here on a piece of paper real quick. First thing you do here is so on pin 9 you've got the anode, and pin 11 here you've got the cathode with the stripe. If you'll notice here, I've connected a diode between 9 and 11 with the stripe here, the cathode over here on 11. And I used a 1N4007. You can also use a 1N4004, either one of them. And what it does is it prevents that inrush of current back into this transistor. So one, I haven't replaced this transistor yet. I'll talk to you more about that in a second. But you know, it could save the life of this thing and keep it from wearing out. Or two, you know, if you've already got and replaced one, it would keep from damaging the new one. I would highly recommend replacing this transistor. It's a right now it's a Q7 there. It's a 2SC1384R. Recommend replacing it with a KSC2690AYS. Mauser and others listed as 512-KSC2690AYS. Any rate, these things are like 90 cents a piece, something like that. But today I was working on this thing and I got the protection diode in place, and then I went to replace that and I realized, whoa, I'm out of them. Which is unlike me. So so I ordered 10 of them, and they should be here anytime. And when it gets here, I'm going to go ahead and replace that transistor with the new one. The new one's in a smaller, like TO2 92 case or whatever. It's a little flat square case instead of that rounded one, but well, it goes in the same emitter-based collector and works perfectly. So I'll do that before I give it back to the customer. But I thought I'd show you this tech tip on the BG062 board, and if you're ever having problems with your unit, even though you know your speakers are good, not properly engaging or taking a long time for the speaker protection relay to engage, this thing should engage within about 5 seconds. Let's cut it off here and back on, and I'll let you hear it. So it's off right now. We'll flip the switch and start counting. 10,001, 10,002, 10,003, 10,000. There we go. Right before 10,004, the protection relay kicked in and kicks in strong. When I first got this unit from the person that owns it, they basically told me that thing wouldn't kick in sometimes for 15 minutes or more. And just a simple recap of this board, and that transistor fixed that, or that diode. So, but I do want to replace that transistor nonetheless. Hopefully that taught you a little something here about that board. It's a notorious thing on the 850s and 950s to go out, and so you know, it's a good thing to always to dive into that thing. At any rate, hopefully everybody learned something today and had a little fun with the video here, and hopefully many people will enjoy this video on how to bias a SX-850 and 950. Alright, I'll leave you with this thing playing today. Beautiful little unit, and sounds great.
count the bodies anymore. The blood and whiskey dance like lovers on the barroom floor. These eyes are sore, these boots are worn, they cannot tell the story anymore. The roads of travel.
Alright everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned like the Cactus Black album there I was playing. It's a great little band. And hopefully we'll be back to making videos again soon. Bear with me. I mean, it has been grueling, 60 to 70 hours a week lately, and some weeks I'm on one jet to one city, and then later that week on another jet to another city, and a lot of flights back and forth to Europe lately as well. So hang with us. Hopefully it'll get better by fall time. Thanks again, everybody. We'll be making them as we can.